Hi there, I'm Ross Jones. I'm from the founder of Emotuit. We're an adaptive learning platform that uses expression recognition to analyse users' engagement and adapt content to suit the user's needs. So in essence, we learn how you learn. That's me, and that's my developer. He's not here today, he's locked in a back room somewhere, and I don't let him out. Our mission is to bring the highest quality of education to everyone, no matter where you are, what access to teaching you have through technology. So one of the big trends at the moment is EdTech, the EdTech market. It's predicted to be worth 51.5 billion by 2016 next year, with an average growth rate of nearly 8% year on year. Break that down, and one of the reasons that I'm here is that the Eastern European market has the second largest growth rate year on year. That is currently 16.9%, which is just behind the 17% of Asia's. Another growth market as well we're targeting is the Latin American market. And with big growth and big money in the area means a lot of competition. There are a number of companies that have learning management systems, education systems, platforms, content providers. But one thing that they lack is where we come in, and that is the feedback and the personalization. You say, okay, well, how do you do that? First, you need to understand the problem. Like standing up here in front of you guys is taking it out of the EdTech space, but it's still, I suppose, educating in a way. I can look around and see who's engaged. I can tell you're engaged. Sorry, I like to project. I can tell when people are engaged and when they're not. So being in front of you, I can look and say, oh, you over there, and I can pose questions to you. And that's not something that you can do with an e-learning platform, and that's something that Emotuit does. So using expression recognition, I'll get that one. Using expression recognition, we can tell if a user is engaged or not with the content they're being displayed. And as such, we can then adapt that to suit. We then learn how they've reacted and how they've reacted to certain styles of content, because we recognise that not everyone learns in the same way. So you have different styles of learning, but different styles of learning resonate across different subjects. So in the morning I might learn better reading something. It's not the case because I can't read in the morning. I much prefer doing stuff, whereas in the evening I prefer other styles. If it's science, I prefer physical examples, whereas I'm happy to do English or any subject like that by reading. So our system is a cross-platform which uses HTML content and your device's camera. That could be native camera on a mobile device or your webcam on your computer. And how the system works, we have live analysis of your facial expression. It then adapts the content based on our queries and how you've reacted, and then delivers the correct content to suit you. So if you log into the system for the first time, it doesn't know much about you, so it uses a randomized algorithm to deliver you content. Once then it starts building up a picture, it then becomes more adaptive. It then is more accurate to how you're learning. And what that means for a content provider is that you can create a course within the system which uses, so we break it down into, you've got your course, you've got your chapter, and then you've got your step. And within the step, you upload your content. And the extra step for a content creator is that you create more content. But the feedback on that is that the learner gets a better learning experience. And it's like, well, do they? And I'll skip forward to this. I don't expect you to read all this, but in Shanghai there was a study of over 5,000 people, and the results were it was over 91% more effective to deliver content using emotional reaction or emotional response. So what this means to a content provider as well is, why would they go to this level of effort just because the user gets a better experience or better learning? Firstly, you get customer retention. They come back because they have an improved experience and improved learning. But that feedback is then pushed back to the content provider as well. So as a content provider, one thing that you don't get at the moment when you create courses, is you don't know if people are taking your courses. You know based on the clicks or whether it's viewed or something like that, so you can get the HTML player metrics, but you don't know if a user's actually engaged with any of your content. So what this will give back to the content provider is the why. So why aren't people engaging with my content? And this spreads across, your standard e-learning, your corporate learning, your onboard training material, anything like that. Any time that you've sat idly clicking away, trying to get through it as fast as possible, all of that feedback is then fed back to the provider. So we're trying to create this loop where the feedback is provided, so the content becomes better, becomes more interactive, and at the same time, then the user gets a better experience and learns more out of it. And so this is how it would then work. I'm looking forward to this. So we currently have Android application, which is our delivery method for our users. We're pre-beta, which is my favourite phrase, over pre-revenue, which means we're generating content providers at the moment. So I have a list of over 25 content providers because we want to launch the beta to providers so we understand their headaches with creating courses. Those content providers have a user base of over 250,000 users. We're just in the process of finishing off our web app where the providers create those courses. That should be ready for next month. We're launching in Las Vegas. What we want to do next is, once we've had our beta run, and hopefully not with that amount of users because we're currently bootstrapped funded, so we need the funding to develop our Android, our iPhone application or iOS application, and push this out to more users. So this is going on to our revenue streams. We're currently available, obviously, on the Play Store. We haven't pushed it out yet because we're waiting for our web app to be finished. We will work with content providers like the ones we have signed up in pre-beta, and any paid courses that go on our system, then we take a percentage of the fee. So if you have a paid course, all the payments go via Emotuit system and then forwarded on to the provider. We also have the private cloud option or in-house version where we can offer it to corporations or education institutes. We have one in Brazil with 60,000 users who wanted their own private version. So we're looking at delivering that. And again, that will be done via licensing and support model. We then have the public offering or the freemium offering that we're looking at, which is essentially you offer the base services or the base analysis of your courses, because we know that a lot of people wanted to provide or upload free courses to the system, and obviously free courses don't generate us any money. So we'd have a limitation of 10 courses that you can put for free. If you want any more, you have to pay the paid subscription per month. If you also then want in-depth analysis of all of these, then that's an extra cost as well. So that's where we are currently. If you have any questions, please let me know.
It's time for questions.
Thank you. I have a question. Who's your perfect provider?
Perfect provider. One with
Drink some water.
it's the airline air conditioning.
You did a good job.
Perfect provider would be someone with lots of courses that are paid. So we specifically the likes of Skillsoft, they're quite obviously a big provider. They create a lot of courses for people. But the people we have signed up for pre-beta, they go across a number of different different marketplaces. So we've got corporate learning, we've got like K-12 learning for blended classrooms. We have the public offering, so we've got a lot of IT training providers as well. They create their own courses, and they're a great offering as well because they charge for all their courses. So anyone that charges for their courses is a great partner for us.
How do you make money?
Through subscriptions. So,
How much is it?
well, it depends. So if someone pays for a course via our system, we get a percentage of that. So if a course is 500, so we take 5% of that. So we make money via the percentage of a course fee. We also then make money via the licensing for an in-house version of the software. So if you had a company that wanted to use our learning management system as your own in-house system, we could have that as an in-house system as well.
Can you make it white label?
This is what we're looking at. So one of the biggest feedbacks, I was talking to edX last year, and they were really interested, but obviously they've spent millions on building their platform, and they wanted an API that they could plug into to have the analytics part. We could, but there are only 4 of us, and that's one of the things we're looking at doing. So one of our next steps is to build a plugin that we could slot into other people's learning management systems.
And how old is the company?
We started about a year ago this month. So,
Okay, thank you.
sorry. Any other questions? Yep.
I have 2 questions. Firstly, you said that you had roughly 250,000 people
Yes.
signed up for beta testing. Is that 250,000 courses, 250,000 content providers, or 250,000 consumers?
It's 250,000 students across 25 content providers. Yeah.
So everyone has its own database.
Yeah. And so you get the option as well. As a course provider, you can create a public course or a private course. And it's literally just a switch. You can have it that way. You then assign your users to it, and it gets pushed out. So when you get the app, you log in as your user, you get your courses assigned to you.
And who's your biggest competitor?
Our biggest competitor would be the likes of Newton. So Newton do adaptive learning, but it's based on clicks. So it uses click algorithm to work out the next questions based on how you've answered.
And on a scale 1 to 10, how well do you know Newton?
Fairly well. I know enough
On a
that.
scale 1 to 10.
Oh, I like to be pessimistic, so I'd say 6. You know.
The problem.
Well, I don't see it as a problem because.
We need to know them 11.
But I know what I do know is the important thing. I know that they don't offer what we do, so they can't offer what we do.
I just gave you a golden nugget.
I know.
Take it if you want.
I know. I'm just coming back with what I do know. So
Okay, thank you very much.